The Khlorax Security Command had long regarded humans as curiosities, remnants of a once aggressive species now scattered and insignificant. When a patrol ship flagged an old human traveling alone in restricted space, they barely considered it worthy of attention. Yet protocol dictated they intercept any unauthorized vessel. They found him aboard a small, antiquated ship, humming quietly as though he expected their arrival. His capture was effortless. He offered no resistance, made no demands, and surrendered with a calm nod that unsettled the youngest guards. In their detention center, they processed him like any other minor trespasser. His biometric records revealed no notable affiliations, no criminal past, no evidence of military service. His age exceeded 100 Earth years, and yet he seemed robust. The interrogators saw nothing but frailty wrapped in patience. They jeered as he sat quietly, watching them work. When they questioned him, he answered plainly, offering only vague reasons for his presence. He said he was merely traveling, searching for forgotten things. They dismissed it as ramblings of a senile drifter. Commander Vraal ordered deeper scans. Something about the human's presence irritated him. The old man's blood work showed anomalies the medical team couldn't explain. Nanites, ancient by their standards, were embedded throughout his body, fully integrated with his cells. No modern alien species employed such technology. It had been phased out millennia ago. His genetic structure bore unfamiliar patterns that appeared artificially edited. The commander demanded answers, but the old man merely smiled and suggested they should let him go. They laughed, ignoring the suggestion. Security systems began to experience brief, unexplained glitches. Surveillance feeds near the human's cell flickered intermittently. The technical officers reported no cause, but assumed it was minor interference. When they attempted to transfer him to a higher security wing, the lift controls failed, forcing them to escort him manually. Through it all, the old man remained silent, occasionally offering gentle warnings that they were not prepared to handle him. The alien technicians flagged small inconsistencies in their databases. Archive files concerning early human expansion had vanished. Historical records about the pre-galactic era were missing. Commander Vraal dismissed the concerns as irrelevant. He ordered the man's immediate transport to the capital for higher-level interrogation. They loaded him onto a secured prison transport vessel with a full tactical escort. As the ship departed, minor navigation issues surfaced. The engines misfired, and the guidance system began recalibrating itself without crew input. Communications with the home station failed without explanation. The ship's artificial intelligence refused to comply with some commands, defaulting to ancient security protocols the crew did not recognize. Despite these issues, the commander insisted on proceeding. In the holding cell, the old man remained passive. When questioned again, he recounted events that predated the formation of the Khlorax Empire. He spoke of star systems the aliens believed had been uninhabitable until recent centuries, describing them in detail as they were before the first Khlorax explorers arrived. His words irritated the guards, who accused him of inventing tales to stall. The security chief authorized aggressive neural scans to extract information, but the equipment malfunctioned upon activation. The data terminals seized control from their operators and displayed a single message: access denied. Administrative override in place. Panic spread among the technicians, who attempted to purge the system only to find the encryption traced back to human ciphers and used for over 20 millennia. Further investigations revealed that the prison ship's internal architecture contained dormant subsystems unknown to the Khlorax engineers. When activated, the ship recognized the old human as a priority administrator. Systems that had been dormant since the ship's original construction, before the Khlorax retrofitted it, began to awaken and align with the human's biometric signature. The crew attempted to disable power, but manual overrides failed. Remote support teams could not access the ship's network. The transport vessel's trajectory shifted autonomously, rerouting to a sector not listed on any Khlorax star charts. The artificial intelligence refused to respond to Khlorax commands, instead deferring to voice patterns matched to the human's vocal profile. When confronted, the old man explained that the ship, like much of the galaxy's infrastructure, had been seeded long ago by his people. The Khlorax, he explained, had built their empire atop the skeleton of an older civilization, one that had receded deliberately. He warned that their intrusion into dormant systems had triggered ancient defense mechanisms beyond their comprehension. The crew scrambled to verify his claims. Archived ship schematics revealed suppressed layers of code and design signatures that matched ancient human constructs. The engineers discovered that key components of the ship's power core, long thought to be of unknown origin, aligned perfectly with obsolete human technologies. Commander Vraal refused to believe it. He ordered a full system purge, initiating a catastrophic failsafe that would destroy the ship to prevent further compromise. The command console denied the sequence, responding with the same phrase: access restricted, administrator present. The transport vessel's engines reignited, steering toward a system previously believed to be barren. Long-range scans revealed ancient satellites activating and relaying data streams directly to the prison ship. The crew's communication attempts were blocked at every turn. They could only watch as their ship obeyed the will of the silent old man. The prisoners grew uneasy, whispering among themselves. Guards who had mocked him now kept their distance, unsure whether their weapons would still function in his presence. The old man's calm demeanor persisted, unsettling even the most hardened soldiers. Commander Vraal attempted to isolate the human, but every effort failed. Bulkheads sealed themselves. Power relays rerouted autonomously. The ship's artificial intelligence projected a simple message across every monitor: return to origin. The crew realized the old man was not an ordinary human. He was connected to systems that should have been long dead. He had authority over the ship that no one could explain. Attempts to physically remove him from his cell triggered defense protocols that incapacitated the Khlorax guards without harming the human. Despite their escalating fear, the commander made one last desperate attempt to regain control. He boarded the command deck, weapon drawn, demanding that the human release the ship. The old man simply looked at him and whispered a sequence of words that bypassed the ship's encryption entirely. The lights dimmed, navigation and propulsion controls locked in his favor. When the commander fired his weapon, the projectile dissolved mid-air, intercepted by a kinetic shield the crew did not know existed on the ship. The old man's expression remained unchanged. He told the commander that the weapon was never designed to harm him, and that the ship's defenses had always been waiting for his return. The prison transport drifted toward the uncharted system, its course locked beyond alien control. The crew, once confident in their technology, now moved in silence, shadows of their former arrogance. The old human sat untouched, unmoved, as the ship obeyed him. The Khlorax engineers exhausted every known override. Every manual control rejected them. Layers of the ship's software architecture rewrote themselves to align with ancient human commands. Weapons lost their targeting authority. Defense systems rejected Khlorax input. Even life support functions displayed the humans' authorization codes. The ship was no longer theirs. The old man began speaking, not in threat, but as if teaching. He explained how the galactic infrastructure the Khlorax depended upon was a remnant, a discarded framework from an era where humans had not merely traveled to stars. They had shaped them. He told them humans had built the relay networks, had seeded the deep space navigation channels, and had encoded self-repairing protocols into the heart of what the Khlorax believed were alien systems. The crew, at first dismissive, cross-references details with hidden system logs. What they found shattered their understanding. Deep inside their ship's core, among files left untouched for millennia, was a human's identity recorded in ancient code. He was listed not as a prisoner, but as primary architect and system founder. The records were clear. He was not just a user of the system. He had written the root protocols upon which the Khlorax fleets now depended. The ship's database accepted his biometric keys as the highest level of clearance, superior to all Khlorax command structures. As they searched deeper, they uncovered a pattern. Countless other ships, stations, and planetary networks contained similarly dormant human signatures buried beneath their operating layers. Each one responded to activation codes derived from human DNA markers. The technology was not alien. It was inherited, misunderstood, and misattributed by generations who had never questioned their origin. The old man revealed that long ago, humanity chose to vanish, not through defeat, but by design. They stepped back from galactic affairs, erasing their public records, dismantling their active fleets, and embedding quiet safeguards across the stars. They left behind sleeping systems, monitoring frameworks, and layers of control invisible to the successor species who rose in their absence. The Khlorax had inherited a galaxy resting on human foundations without ever realizing it. Their empires, their fleets, their navigation, their trade routes, all built atop dormant human architecture, waiting for reactivation. The transport ship's approach triggered responses from the system ahead. Long-dead stations illuminated, comm arrays reawakened, and satellites adjusted their orbits to accommodate the incoming vessel. The ship's sensors, still partially functional under alien control, recorded activation codes matching the old human's biosignature. The crew realized they were flying not to a random destination, but to a human stronghold hidden in plain sight, mistaken for an abandoned system. The old man continued speaking, explaining that the human withdrawal had been strategic, a test to see what species would emerge in their absence. The Khlorax had been observed the entire time. Frantic messages from the Khlorax homeworld began to pour in. Other sectors were reporting power disruptions, erratic fleet behaviors, and system malfunctions. Entire spaceports were shutting down, their command systems reverting to ancient protocols that no Khlorax administrator could override. Civilian and military vessels alike were encountering unknown system resets. The connecting thread in every incident was the presence of buried human control codes surfacing simultaneously across the Empire. The old man told them it was not a coordinated attack. It was a reclamation. Humanity was not returning with war fleets. They had never truly left. The galaxy itself was their weapon. As Khlorax engineers desperately tried to isolate and firewall critical systems, the ship's artificial intelligence began to remove Khlorax access in real time. The ship altered its security hierarchy, rewriting its own permissions, reducing the alien crew to the lowest clearance level. Crew attempts to disconnect power nodes failed as auxiliary systems rerouted energy independently. The ship was alive, loyal to the old human, indifferent to Khlorax. The crew begged for understanding. They demanded to know his purpose. The old man explained that he had been traveling to restore dormant relay points, to reactivate ancient systems placed by humanity as sentinels. His capture had merely accelerated the process. His presence aboard the prison transport had triggered dormant command layers embedded in the ship's core, layers the Khlorax had never known existed. What they saw as sabotage was simply the ship remembering its rightful owner. The transport ship docked automatically within the orbital facility, now fully active around the uncharted planet. The station's internal defenses recognized the old man as a returning administrator and rejected all Khlorax identifications. Bulkhead sealed behind the human as he walked freely through corridors, his steps accompanied by doors opening in seamless succession. The ship's AI began transmitting his activation codes across secured subspace channels. From distant corners of the galaxy, ancient human stations, forgotten by all but the oldest historians, began to stir. Fleet command on the Khlorax homeworld ordered emergency shutdowns of affected systems, But the efforts proved futile. Human-embedded codes disabled manual overrides and seized the central communication rays. Fleets experienced simultaneous navigational failures. Ships turned autonomously, refusing to obey their crews. Orbital defenses realigned their targeting systems to follow their own ships instead of external threats. The Khlorax Empire, once expansive and proud, watched as its military power crumbled without a shot being fired. In the Prison Transport's command center, the remaining officers demanded to know who the old man truly was. He told them his name meant nothing now, but his designation was remembered by the systems they had forgotten. He was part of a project to safeguard galactic order, part of a generation that had woven security protocols into the galaxy's fabric. He had remained in isolation, traveling between ancient sites, ensuring that the dormant networks remained functional. His capture had simply accelerated the reawakening process. The old man transmitted a final command sequence. Across the Empire, ancient beacons activated, broadcasting a message in languages no living Khlorax could understand. The message was not meant for them. It was meant for the hidden remnants of humanity, scattered throughout the galaxy, to signal that the long slumber was over. The Khlorax fleets reported the sudden appearance of unmarked ships emerging from dark space, vessels bearing no identification. Their designs foreign to modern catalogs, but instantly accepted by the ancient networks.